Okay guys, before this video starts, let me mention a couple of issues I've had with the recording. First of all, when I recorded this, I was extremely tired, so I sound bored out of my mind and, like I don't want to be here. However, I had a lot of fun recording this episode, so ignore that. Second of all, I have changed my recording settings, so I'm now recording in 60 FPS, and because of that, I changed to variable bitrate, which had some issues in the processing of the video after it had been recorded. So there's some black spots at the beginning of clips sometimes, and sometimes the videos wouldn't start as soon as I started talking, which is a little bit of an issue. But other than that, hopefully it should be fine. The next video, hopefully I can get things figured out, and if there's still issues, I will have to probably switch back to recording in 30 FPS, which is fine. I just want the quality to be a little bit better if possible. Anyways, enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Hello everybody, this is Andy, and welcome to episode 23? Is it 23? 24? One of those two, of Gregtech New Horizons. And I've done a little bit of work off camera. I've set up our ME system a little bit further. I have a bunch of extruders and forming presses on this line now, so when I get around to it, I can automate the creation of like processors and circuits and that kind of stuff, but for now the patterns remain unput into the system. I also have a couple more things over here set up. I have a little baby ore processing thing like a macerator into an electrolyzer or a washing plant or something or whatever. I put here to process some ores, because as you can see, I've processed a bunch of ilmenite to get us almost 1,000 pieces of titanium. So we're not going to be hurting for titanium for a while. I've also got my blast furnace working overtime, creating a bunch of stuff for us. I did a bunch of mining in between episodes, like an incredible amount of mining. This is the amount of veins I mined. So 1, 2, plus 9, 11 veins. One of them was just a bunch of turf from the moon, and another was just a bunch of clay, which I both processed all of those already. That's why I have the platinum over there. It doesn't get you a lot of platinum, but it gets you a little bit. Each of these guys right here will blast into 2 nuggets, or each 3 of these turns into 2 nuggets, which is, it gets us our first little bit. We'll get better platinum production later. Other than those few things, not a lot has changed in the base. Just a lot of time went into grabbing materials in order to progress further. One thing I did want to mention, I've been doing this for a while now, but gold I've been getting from glow flowers that you can find in the nether. You can pick these, right, like that. I have 3 layers of them now because I don't need a lot of my crops anymore. And then you can, I think, extract them into glowstone, and then you can centrifuge this into redstone and gold. And that's a pretty decent ratio, 1 to 1/2 piece of gold. I'm pretty happy with that. However, first things first, this episode, the main theme is going to be getting our base comfortable and running to a point where I could just let it AFK in the background without worrying about running out or having to run out of power or something like that. Right now, I've got a ton of fuel in here because I've been doing some trips to the overworld to collect fuel, and we're looking pretty for now. However, we want to get this oil drilling rig set up as soon as possible, and that's going to require this oil drilling rig. So let me gather all of the stuff for this really quick. I've nearly gathered all of the things that we need. I just need a couple of cobalt gears. Luckily, I had some cobaltite to electrolyzed into cobalt. It just needs to be blast melted really quickly. Also, this is nichrome coil block, which means it actually gets an overclock over the base usage. It's a free overclock, doesn't use any more power, which is really, really nice. So the highest tier coils will be used for all blast furnaces whenever possible. Also, I now have a multi-smelter, which is really cool. I just used the cathode coils that I used to have before, and it smelts things really quickly. And I guess I have some tin in there. Pretty cool. I miscalculated. I thought I only needed 2 gears. I need 4. So while we're waiting for that to, I'm processing a little bit more cobaltite. I got some from a nickel vein, and it looks like I'm already getting a little bit of extra cobalt, which is really nice. I'm just going to macerate this again and hope I get the 8 cobalt that I need. Anyways, in the meantime, why don't we kind of look at getting this molecular assembler? That requires an advanced assembling machine, EV, which requires 2 EV circuits, which I've actually already made, and I just need to make some of this other stuff. So it doesn't look actually that bad. I have a bunch of annealed copper, don't I? I believe, Yeah, I have 140. So let me make some annealed copper wires, and we can begin crafting up the first molecular assembler, which will allow us to truly begin auto crafting. All right, so here is the crappy oil fluid, or the oil gas fluid drilling rig. Doesn't actually take that long to craft. It should be available in here any second now. There it is. Okay, perfect. Now, this thing can only work on one chunk, I think, right? Yeah, it works on one chunk. We want to upgrade to the titanium one, so it'll work on 3x3 chunks at a time. The oil drilling rig, the second tier one, is going to require an HV energy hatch, and that has to be made with either helium coolant cells or sodium potassium coolant cells. I'm going to opt for this one because this one's actually fairly simple to make. You just need some sodium, some potassium, put it in a mixer, and it'll put the fluid out for you. So I'm going to make 6 of these cells for now, and it should turn into the sodium potassium right here. Sodium potassium, can't speak today, and I can just pull it into here, hopefully, and then take my 6 cells and fill them. Where'd those cells go? Oh, there they are. I don't know why they disappeared. No, it doesn't look like they're gonna fill, so I might have to can them. I do need to fluid can them, so let's shove them in here, hopefully. It's got tin in there for some reason. Okay, weird. Waste of like 20 ingots of tin, but I think I'll be okay. I needed to make these 10k cells as well, but they're really easy to make. Just a little bit of tin and empty cells, which I already had. So it goes into there, and then it should just get canned very quickly into this, which I guess doesn't stack because it's actually a coolant that can be used in something. I'm not quite sure how it's used, but I'll just use it for these energy hatches probably. Okay, so it's been a minute. I've made a seismic prospector so we can figure out what kind of oil fields we have around here, and I need to make an advanced printer, I think, to be able to print the data on this stick. So this is MV because I didn't really want to use HV circuits on this thing, so it needs to go down here somewhere. I don't think we're going to automate this because I don't think there's any point to. So let's try out this seismic prospector. However, before we do that, here's all the stuff for the HV energy hatch. I'm only making one right now because I don't have any extra energetic alloy. I had almost exactly enough. So for now, we'll just make the energy input hatch that we need for the oil drilling thing. Why don't I go ahead and check the available fluids in this chunk right here? If I could place my oil drilling rig right here, that'd be amazing because I wouldn't have to run any wires or anything too far to get over to here where I'm processing all of my things. I am going to use a distillation tower to process and not these little single block distilleries because they're kind of terrible and inefficient, but we still need to get the fluid over here into the chemical reactors. Okay, I was gonna show you how our prospecting for things worked, however, I was interrupted. Also, I did some prospecting in the Twilight Forest, and it appears as oil doesn't generate there underneath the bedrock. So we're gonna have to do it in the overworld, and I think I'm just gonna set up a factory right here, because this, specifically this chunk right here, or this chunk begins the 8x8 chunks that oil fields make up in Gregtech New Horizons, where there is a bunch of oil. There's also a bunch of ores here, but as you can see, 5 is the chunk that we're in, 426 to 709. That's a very, very good source of oil. So this is the one we're going to pump in. And uh-oh, that's turning into something it's not supposed to. What? Wait, what's happening? The issue appears to be that I had this program circuit in here, so hopefully this time this is the correct recipe, and it doesn't look like it's gonna go. Let me gather up the rest of the materials I need to set this thing up in the overworld, and we'll set it up. So if I'm correct, I just need 3 stable casings here and 3 frame boxes here, and it should form the multi-block. Hit it with my rubber mallet when it's ready to go. However, I did end up crafting a bunch of these turbo engines because these are going to run our oil, not ore, processing for now. Eventually we'll need more for ore processing as well. However, this is what we need now. So I brought 16 diesel cells, and it will begin filling the hatch. And hopefully, if I whack this with my soft mallet, it will go and begin. No, it's not going. Oh, it needs mining pipes, and it's going. Perfect. If I'm correct, it does need to run a pipe to bedrock, but once it does that, and it's very fast at doing that, it should be good to start pumping. Yeah, look, it's very fast. It should be done soon. That might be it, actually. Is it producing oil now? Oh yeah, it is. Wow, that's oil very fast. I've spent some time, done some work, done some building, and that machine's actually gonna blow up if it rains, isn't it? I have more laboratory blocks, so I can fix that issue right now. But yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit more work and hopefully get everything ready for a distillery, so we can begin setting up this new area. I've gone ahead and done the necessary circuit crafting to make the distillation tower. Now I just need to make all of the extra blocks. I think it's like clean stainless steel machine casings. Yeah, I need to make a bunch of these, and I have the stuff for it. I'll be back in a moment. And there we go. That's the distillation tower. There is one input on the bottom side, an output bus right here, and 4 outputs on the layers that are not the bottom. You can't put output buses or output hatches for fluids on the bottom layer. That's simply for input and the output of items, if there are items in the recipe. It doesn't matter if you need items or if items come from the recipe or not, you still need this guy. And these can go anywhere on these layers, I think. Also, I did want to mention I got around 1,900 buckets of oil, just over, from 16 buckets of diesel, which is it's a decent ratio. So there's oil in the bottom of this thing, so let's give it a bonk, and hopefully, well, that's going to give me some fireworks, but hopefully that means there's stuff in here. Oh, and it runs pretty quickly. That's pretty nice. For the time being, I've gone ahead and turned this guy off because he doesn't need to run. And then I decided I'm going to insert directly into chemical reactors to take the sulfur out of these things. Alright, there we are. Those are the chemical reactors set up with some filtering to make sure things go in the proper places, and they all of their outputs come over to here, and it looks like I've gotten at least one of each output. And with this mixer right here, we're producing diesel way faster than I can ever dream of using it right now. I came here with under 400 buckets, I think, ish, and I've used a lot of them because all these machines are running right now, I think. Are you on? Yep, you're on. You're on. This guy's eternally on. Looks like I'm out of hydrogen, actually. Hopefully this thing will keep up. I might have to add another one if it doesn't. I'm not sure how this thing's gonna behave with, like this tank filling up eventually, because it definitely will. I'm not processing oil even close to as fast as I make it. So I'm going to try and set up some redstone logic to turn it off whenever we get like 90% full. Okay, so this is a very basic system because I'm pretty sure redstone has changed in 1.7 compared to when I'm used to using it and where I learned it. So this is all I got. So this redstone block all the way over here, because it's so far away, only emits a power level of 6 at this point. And I have this thing inverted, so when it is full, eventually it will turn off. It will emit a power level of 6 here, and because this is a comparator, it will compare this to this, and if they're the same, it should just shut off this redstone signal, and there's a controller on the bottom here, so it'll just shut off this block. Hopefully I'll be able to observe that, but it might take a minute. The power level has come down to 6, but I think it's flickering, and that means we're never gonna actually see it. So that's fine. One flickering machine is not gonna kill us, so I'm gonna just allow it to do what it does. I've done a little bit of building up around this thing. I haven't finished it, obviously, and it looks like I missed a block right there, but it's looking very, very plain right now, and I think I'm gonna have to do a bunch of stuff to spruce it up. Also, I'm realizing that I can literally just fix this like right here, and yeah, that's fine for now. Maybe a 4x4 door is a little better for this thing, but I am scared of mobs trying to kill me while I'm in here, and I don't want them to blow up my machines. That would be very unfortunate. Oh, and look, this thing hit 5 power, so it's not allowing it through anymore. So this is turned off, which means we're probably, yeah, we're in the 500,000. So this will flicker on, probably do one operation, and then turn back off. I am gonna just go ahead and turn this guy off because I don't want this to run right now. I'll just turn everything off. That can stay. These won't run, so we'll be fine. I am gaining net diesel by a fair amount. However, once I can cetane boost it, this will be a much more viable method of creating power. Enough of all of that building. Let's make the assembling machine now. This first one isn't going to get actually put into use. It's going to turn directly into a molecular assembler. And I think I have everything except for the cores. Yeah, let me make some of those up. All right, and there we go, the first molecular assembler. Let me grab a couple of interfaces for this guy. For now, as I've said, we're going to have to maximize for molecular assemblers, not for interfaces. The more molecular assemblers you attach to an interface, the faster it will craft because it'll push into all of them at the same time. However, these things are extremely expensive at the moment, so we can't really make 100 of them. Eventually we will be able to, because it will get less and less expensive as we get easier and easier access to all of these ores, but for now, we don't have a lot of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and go probably just like this or something, and we can get up to 6 interfaces on this guy, which isn't bad actually. That's a decent amount of recipes. So now if we go over to our system, we should be able to see some molecular assemblers on here. Yep, and these will do our crafting for us. So as you can see, I've created a pattern for patterns. The first thing you need to put into most of your auto-crafting systems is how to make more of themselves with the resources you have, which is pretty nice. So it doesn't look like, it looks like I can't make 10 because I need more patterns to make the patterns for glowstone plates. So make me 4 for now. That should be good, and you should see they start crafting. If I got over here in time before the craft finished, but it did before I got over here, you'd be able to see the items show up in here, but I was too slow. And there we go. With the cutting machine on the line and ready to do some auto crafting, I should be able to request pretty much as many blank patterns as I want. That's not how you spell blank. Blank. Let's request 32. And it just says it can do it. It might take a little bit of time, but it'll do its job. And it crafted 3 immediately. And I assume this is the bottleneck right now. And there we go. That's 32 patterns done. It actually only took like a minute. So now I can start setting up a lot of patterns for a lot of things that we're going to need to use throughout the base. So stuff like motors, I can just begin to automate it. That's not actually right. I guess I need to make one. This version of Applied Energistics doesn't have a very special mod. I think it's, why can't I press T? M-O-T. My T is not working for some reason. Now it's working. As I was saying, there is a mod for 1.12 that fixes a lot of Applied Energistics issues. We don't have it in this version, so we're just gonna have to live. Also, the main issue was I had it on a processing pattern, not a recipe pattern. So yeah, there we go. Now I can just put this in the assemblers, and should I desire motors, I can say, give me 3 of them. And it's gonna tell me I can't do it because it's crafting dense conduit right now. So I'll just cancel that. Give me 5 motors. Perfect. And I know why that recipe wasn't crafting. It used to only take 1 ME conduit to make dense conduits. Now it takes 4. Which makes sense because it's 4 times the amount of channels, but oh, that's really frustrating. I updated to the new version of the pack today, so I'm gonna have to order some more ME conduits and fix this recipe. Okay, guys, I still think this thing is so ugly. Anyways, I think I'm gonna end it here. We've gotten a fair bit done. Not quite as much as I would have hoped for, but this was quite the undertaking, and we can expand on it later. Next episode, we will definitely try to get cetane up and running if possible, but that will involve pyrolyse, ovens, and a bunch of other stuff. However, I think we're in a good place. We can now autocraft, and we've got a lot of good stuff coming down the hatch. So hopefully progression will start to get faster and faster as we move forward. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, maybe a like or something. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.